Do you dream of adding your very own book to the collection of books that have already been written? Do you wonder where to start or how to finish? Does the idea of writing a book seem too overwhelming? Do you just want to polish up those writing skills or stay motivated? Do you wonder what to write about? Everything you need to help you write, stay motivated, and self-publish your own book is right here on one channel. And why? Well, because it's time to get over the writer's hump and just do it. You can write anything. Yep, you can write a book. Hello, welcome to a book. Well, I am so thrilled that you are here. Today, as always, I have a very special guest for you, and I think you're really going to appreciate her because we have not had the pleasure of hearing from anyone who has written children's books yet. But today we are going to get to hear from someone, a beautiful author. Her name is Diane Broady Wilson, and she is here with us today. Diane, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a
I'm
pleasure to
so
be here.
thrilled that you are here. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of interviewing Adam Fleming from Victory Vision Publishing. And
Mhm.
Adam's actually the one who told me you have to have Diane on. And so he's the one who got you here, and I am so happy. And if he says that you have a lot to say, I believe him.
Oh, that's so sweet. He's so good. He is quite a champion in my mind. He really, really is.
Yeah.
Very getting us out there and believing in our legacy of our writing.
Oh,
It's everything,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. And sometimes as authors, we really need somebody standing behind us telling us what to do and cheering us on, right?
Yes. I mean, he's very creative and in his own right. And, it's just great having another author, much less seriously, a leader helping us to really take charge
Oh,
and share
completely.
our story. Um,
Yes.
not just on the books for the selling of the book, but actually sharing it with, the community and in public spaces, bookstores, getting
Yes.
out there. It's quite a thrill, actually.
It is. It really is. Well, on that note, when you saying it's a thrill, I want to know more about you. I know our listeners and our viewers want to know more about you. So tell me, when did you decide that you wanted to write a book?
Well, I actually, it was more like a transition of my heart after my mom, she transitioned herself. Um, she passed on, and I was inspired by her watercolor of a Texas jackrabbit. She was an
Oh,
artist in her own right, very professional artist. And something happened when I saw that watercolor. I just automatically started thinking of writing the book about Jeremiah and
oh
kindness.
my.
And it was when the pandemic had just started, 2019. And, we were all kind of had to stay in our little neighborhoods. And I thought, well, I wanted to give back some way, shape, or form, and write a book and have maybe the proceeds go back to the community to help, you know, uh, food pantries and whatnot, and just make something out of the time. And it just became its own personality. I had a lot of kids help me with the story that were being homeschooled,
Oh
like
my.
our podiatrist children. They are very intelligent, and they did my first critique, and it was brutal. Ages like, I mean, there's
Children are not shy about telling us what they
they
think, are they?
they are not, and it was really amazing. I was very humbled by the critique. And that was the first edition with the previous owner of Victory Vision, Julie. And then she had asked me, okay, you've got to get more professional. You have to get professional illustrations and tighten it up just a little bit. Um, I have to go back a little bit. The first edition actually made money on Amazon with the high school kids that did the illustrations. So
Oh
it was
boy.
it was a great way to get my feet in the water. And the second edition, um, which is what we're talking about now, um, was with the help of a few more kids in high school. And so I had kids along the way contributing, until Julie said, okay, we've got to up the look of it, keeping true to the story. And then Julie had retired, and I became aware of Adam and Megan, taking over Victory Vision.
Yes.
And I was, so appreciative of that. So I very inspired by that, and along the way, um, as well, running
Wow.
into writers. I mean, there's um, a lot of writers here in Amarillo. We have a writing group. And so it's really great. A lot of talented people out there. And it's great to be a part of it. Thanks to Adam
Yeah.
very much, Adam and Megan. And it's really fun. So,
Oh, I like that. I think one of the most beautiful things that has happened for myself as an author, just like you, is that I have met so many other wonderful authors. There's a whole world of creative people who are
yeah,
sharing this
it's
gift and
amazing.
this talent of their, and what I call it is the gift of their thoughts. They're sharing
Oh,
what they have up here with the rest
oh,
of the world, and it's
that's
it's just
beautiful.
such a, yeah, it's so wonderful. Well, tell us a little about the story. I don't want you to give the whole story away because certainly we want people to read it for themselves, but tell us a little about this story that you created.
Yeah, I'm a retired counselor, and I knew that, the impact of, you know, kindness, kind thoughts, and all, that with ourselves, but taking it a few notches out of the comfort zone. And how does kindness become an action? Because it's actually an action verb. It's not just some, floaty feely thing in our mindset, but we actually take action and do an act of kindness. And um, I had so many kind people in my life, and I've so many mentors, and that type of thing in my career as working with children. And I know what kindness meant to them, in growing and getting their needs met. Um, but I knew that as counseling, I work with the poorest of the poor people. And sometimes, it would mean, not just talking about psychological things, but more like basic necessities, your home, your food, clothing, just, a safe environment. And that really impacted me more than I realized. Um, because I started writing that story. I know Jeremiah, he's a young Texas jackrabbit, black-tailed jackrabbit, and he's got beautiful parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jackrabbit. And it all starts, this whole adventure starts with a shooting star over the West Texas skyline.
Mm.
And basically all the cows and birds and owls and cats are all excited about it. And then that goes from there to that celebration with all those little animals, to the shooting star, that is, goes over the jackrabbit home, leaving a glitter all over their house. It's
Oh
just
my.
beautiful. And the mom is like, my gosh, that's amazing. And Jared, so they were getting ready to sit down for their dinner. And so they had gotten some greens from the farmer next door.
Well, they had to. They're rabbits.
But yeah, they're rabbits. Yes. But I didn't, because this is the Panhandle area. I know jackrabbits are not a farmer's best friend, so I had the farmer give them to
Oh.
the jackrabbit family. So, it would be, a little respectful there. um, and from then on, Jeremiah has this idea. He doesn't want the greens, although he appreciates it. And it goes from there where he really wants ice cream. And but then he learns that ice cream is great. Yeah, it's all great to be able to enjoy the ice cream for the first time as a jackrabbit. But his parents have some other thoughts about that.
Oh,
Um,
well, we don't
and
want you to spoil it for us.
I know this, it's just a neat, he asks his mom all these questions and, about just kindness. And then the story goes from there. And I won't
Oh,
say anything else.
oh my goodness. It sounds like such a beautiful, fun story.
It is so great because I just had the experience. I went to a Books a Million bookstore in Lubbock this weekend
How
and did
fun.
a storytelling. I did not even have to read from the book. I
Really?
just told the story to the parents and the kids, and they were buying the book.
Are you kidding? That is amazing.
I was telling it, and I love, it's just, I love it so much because, I know it means a lot for kids that are having a hard time if they're being bullied or, they're having hard times, no food in the house and whatnot. Somebody to reach out to them in a kind way. Um,
I want to talk about kindness for just a moment because obviously this book was written for children, but I think there's a message there for all of us. So, do you think that as a society, we have become less kind to one another?
it seems like, it depends, certain pockets, there's people that want to be kind, but I think that, people in my mind, this is what I get a sense of is that social media has created a detachment. I mean, it's great for connecting and doing what we're doing here, right now, and, just touching base with people. But to spend all your time on social media, I feel like there's a disconnect from your own heart and your soul, and people are, when they're walking down the street, they're looking at their cell phones, and
Yes.
when they're eating at a restaurant, they're on their cell phones, and the families aren't talking to each other. um it's just like, I mean, we are meant to be in relationship, in a fellowship of sort with each other,
Yes.
and a good healthy fellowship,
Yeah.
so it's what we really need, and I feel like people are running on empty if they don't get that.
I think so. And so my take on that is that we've become too busy. We've become so busy that kindness is no longer part of our daily routine. And I think we used to do you remember May baskets? I'm
Yeah,
old enough to remember May baskets. And I was thinking
yes.
about this today because, May is going to be here before we know it. And nobody gives out May baskets anymore. We don't do that. And that was just such a beautiful act of kindness. Nobody does that. There, we used to bring cookies to our neighbors on a normal basis, or when we knew somebody wasn't feeling well, we might bring them chicken soup, these little acts of kindness, but we have gotten so busy that we have gotten away from it. And we call those things paying it forward or generosity. And I think one of the things that I see, and it quite frankly sort of disturbs me, is there are videos now where people will show themselves being generous. And in my opinion, that's not true generosity.
Oh,
But that's me, and I don't want to knock any of these people who are doing those videos. I think they might be sincere in their attempts to be helpful and generous to other people. But on a day-to-day basis, we've just gotten so busy that we've left people to fend for themselves in ordinary problems of life. We all get a cold, we all get sick, and we're kind of left to ourselves now rather than the neighbors reaching out and doing acts of kindness for us. And I'm not saying I happen to have fantastic neighbors, and so I'm not knocking on my neighbors personally. I have great neighbors, but I'm just saying as a
yeah.
society, this is what I'm seeing as a whole. And so How then are we teaching our children at home to be kind if we are not demonstrating it? So when
Oh,
there's a book like yours that comes out and it gets to show children what kindness can look like, it puts those thoughts into their head that I think I would like to be a kind person, right?
yes, thank you. I appreciate your sharing about that. That is so important. And, we also have nice neighbors as well. And we do a lot of, paying it forward, just appreciate each other. But we take the effort to do it. It's just, you pick up the phone, you go knock on the door, my husband brings them cookies, like you said, and or he'll bake some cornbread or something, But I really appreciate because that is a value that, is best, in my mind, taught really, really young. I mean, very young. I mean, in pre-K, preschool, kindergarten, the
Oh,
acts
yes.
of kindness, I know you and I both probably experienced a lot of kind teachers, which are wonderful. I remember every one of my teachers, I loved every one of them.
Oh,
They're just so sweet, very encouraging. But to learn that with your family or an elder, in a storytelling where it comes alive, is, just, I mean, I know that the fourth and fifth graders could probably read the story on their own, but the real gift of the story is knowing what's possible in reaching out to others. That, like you say, and I love what you just said, like, I'd like to be kind, I'd like to do that. They get so many messages. The kids are bombarded with,
yes.
I don't know, just, messages, maybe subliminal in a way, actually, that you have to fight to the finish, and and this and that. But where's the dialogue? Where's the communication, in being able to have that connection? But if you start it with something nice, you can start that dialogue by doing something nice, and then somebody feels like, hey, I'm really worth it. And the person that's giving, hey, I'm worth it because this is what I choose to do, and it makes you feel really good, and it's
Yes.
like, and with the parents involved, which in my children's book, the parents are very involved. They're always having conversation, and communication on what is kindness,
That's so
what is
fun.
that. Yeah, it's so fun. And Jeremiah's energy is just phenomenal. He is hopping out of bed. He's excited about life. He wants to, he's like, he is ready to go. He has good friends, and but when he sees a friend and having a hard time, um, well, you have to read the book to find out what he does.
I'm definitely going to get this book. This is
Yeah,
a
I'm
good
so
one to
proud of
get.
Jeremiah.
So, well,
I'm
let me
proud of
ask you. So
Jeremiah.
you take this book and you get to read it, right, to these young children.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Is that fun for you? Do you enjoy it?
Well, I actually I've done it a few times. I met with, every time has been wonderful because the kids they're quiet, and they're just, the illustrations are phenomenal. So I have these big boards, with the images, large images,
Oh, nice.
that I could show them, or have, you know um, somebody help to do the boards. I had my illustrator do it at Barnes and Noble,
Oh,
a few
wow.
months ago, actually.
Oh,
Um,
fun.
and but it's wonderful. It's to me, kindness is the magic that we need in our life, and the storytelling really brings that alive. Is it just the spirit of the book, the heart of the book is,
Oh,
you know, people really do matter, in caring for others really does matter. But the kids are very excited. I got, like I mentioned, just this last weekend, And I did sign up for Amarillo Independent School District to met all the librarians, and they want me to read the story.
Oh, what a beautiful
You know,
thing.
I kind of came in toward the end of their semester, but all the librarians liked the book. So they want me to come to the library and have the book reading coincide, with a community event like a food drive or a sock
Mm.
drive, anything, so the librarians are all on board, and the school
Is
board
this
brought
what
me
you
in.
thought this would bring you to when you wrote this book? Did you thought that you would be doing all of these things?
No, but it seems so natural because it's more about the interaction that I so appreciate, with the kids in the community. Um, you know, I mean, I would actually have a wish that I could be in Dolly Parton's Story Bridge. That's my goal, but I
Oh,
I'm on my own. I think she requires a publisher,
oh,
just out of all respect. But so I do it on my own with Adam's support. I do the same thing, the same outreach without, you know, we do what we're meant to do at the right time and with
hmm.
the right people.
Walk through the
And
open doors when you're
yes,
supposed to. Yes.
and
You,
you have to make those doors open, right? And make those opportunities by reaching out. And so that's important to me. I have a responsibility to do that, just as Adam says. And I really enjoy it. I truly enjoy it. I
oh,
really
what a
do.
good fit. On that note, we're going to pause for just a moment. I want to let people know about Victory Vision Publishing. So we will be back in about 1 minute. Hey everyone, are you stuck trying to figure out how to finish writing or publishing your book? Well, let me tell you about Victory Vision Publishing. Victory Vision Publishing is there to help you cross that finish line. They have package plans that are tailor made just for your individual needs. They have learning opportunities where you can discover ways of overcoming some obstacles that you might have. Adam Fleming is a wonderful CEO, and they are a fully staffed team just waiting to help you edit, layout, maybe make a cover for your book. Go ahead and join their email list and check out some of the wonderful books and wonderful authors that they have already helped get published. Yep, Victory Vision is definitely the way to go if you feel stuck and just want some support in getting your book out to the world. You're only one book away from changing the world. victoryvision.org. Okay, we're back and we're going to talk some more about your book. I want to know a little bit about your writing process. When you sat down to write this book, did you have an outline in mind? Did you have did you just see the whole story and sit down and write it? How did that process go for you?
Yeah, I did have a little bit of an outline, especially after the feedback from the kids, and which were like 10, 11, 12 years old. And so I thought, my gosh, this is very humbling. I just shared the very rough story with them. And then I said, well, I need to get this a little more organized and outlined. And then after I had a little more structure to the outline, I was able to be more creative and, just from point A to point B, but also kind of being a newbie, my first
Oh,
time ever doing this, I just kind of, I let it go a little bit just to see where it would go, and then came back and brought it in a little bit. It's, I just want to say that I believe in the creative process, but the editing, um, really, I need to be mindful of the editing and getting away from being the poet in the because I was actually, out of all respect, I do poetry, and so I
oh,
had to leave.
wonderful.
Oh my gosh, my dear, I had to leave the poetry behind. The
Oh no.
this young boy, 12 years old, he wanted
Oh.
to buy the rights to my book because he really liked it.
Oh, you're kidding.
It's like, I want to be the CEO
That's
of your
great.
company. I'm like, I'm happy
Oh,
to sell you the rights. He says, but you have to decide, this is a 12-year-old. If you want to be if you want to do a poet, or are you going to write the story? You can't do both.
that's very astute for
So
a 12-year-old.
and his
My
mom was like,
goodness.
yes, that's my boy. Yes. It was
Wow.
phenomenal. I mean, I was so humbled by him. And uh, so basically, and so once I decided I was going to write it, I got away from the poetry and the doc, kind of more lyrical, more straightforward writing. I had more confidence because of his suggestion, along with his mom right there. And so I thought these guys are brilliant, and
No kidding.
they're like, just so super intelligent, good hearts. But so I just kind of let it go from there on, and it just unfolded. It's the most remarkable process.
It
I mean,
is.
the creative process is, no matter what you do.
Once you had the book done, the manuscript for it, and it was exactly the way you wanted it to go, what did you do next? Did you try to find a traditional publisher? Did you know that you wanted to self-publish? What did you do?
Well, yeah, thank you. I saw the high school initially, uh Bushland High School and Randall High School, were doing out community outreach during the pandemic. And Michelle Lancaster she's very involved with a lot of projects in the community with the kids. They have to create solutions for situations in the community.
Oh,
And so it's phenomenal. I saw her on television on Channel 10, uh, being interviewed, and she said that they were doing a project for Faith City Mission, which is what Julie, the prior CEO, was involved in. And I thought, Julie, I feel like I need to reach out to these two ladies. And Julie just happened to have started Victory Vision, and she
oh,
said she would love to work with me. Um, and she was pretty tough, actually. She really helped me to grow, get my thoughts together. But she wanted to publish it, and so I worked with her on the first and the second edition.
oh my.
Um, and so I was so appreciative. And then was handed over to Adam and Megan. So it was Victory Vision all along. They have been
Yeah,
supporting
okay.
me.
Okay.
It's
That is just amazing. What an
it's,
amazing testimony for, for Victory Vision. But
it's so
yeah.
good.
How long has
They,
this book been out then? How long has it been available?
the second edition, which is the one I'm really focusing on, has been out since about 2022, thereabouts. Adam can correct me on that,
Okay.
but but
Okay.
about 2022, yes, yeah.
Okay.
And
Well, I think if it's okay, I would like to show our audience your books. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up, this is your Amazon page right here. And you have done such an amazing job of telling us what this story is about
thank
that
you.
I just know that our viewers are going to want to run out and get this because what a beautiful thing. So yes, get on Amazon and you can look for Celebrating Kindness with Jeremiah Jackrabbit Jr. And we're going to leave that in the description of this video. We'll leave the link so you'll know exactly
Oh,
where to go
thank
to get
you.
it. But this is it. There's the description of the book. And so you said that you needed to up your game when it came to the cover. Who ultimately ended up doing your cover for you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so appreciative. Julie asked me to uh, either use some of her illustrators or find one. I told her I was going to find an illustrator here in the Panhandle, and this gentleman, Manfred Mayer, he was just graduating from West Texas A&M University with a BFA in fine arts, and I called their department, and the instructor sent Manfred to me. We have
Oh,
somebody that wants to work with you.
okay.
So I was
Okay.
just amazed at I mean, he's so super talented, very um really down to earth, sweetheart of a young man. And he connected to the story right away. And it maybe, I mean, it was just phenomenal. He
Oh,
grasped the whole story, and each one of his illustrations is just perfect in my mind.
oh.
They're really fun. They really are fun. And Adam did the write up.
Oh,
Um,
he did. I think one of my favorite things about this cover is that it looks almost, I don't want to say 3D, but it looks like you can walk into it. It doesn't,
it
it's not just a flat cover, but
does,
it
doesn't
has some
it?
depth to it. And I really like that. I was looking at the cover of another author that we interviewed the other day, and I said it makes you want to go in the building. There's a building on the cover of it. It makes you want to go in. And so
Oh,
when you have a good cover, it makes people want to open the book, and this certainly does. It kind of makes you want to open it and see what's in that forest there.
well, thank
It looks
you.
really good.
I'm
So
really
yes, you
proud
can
of
get on
it.
Amazon. So another place that you have your book, we were looking earlier, is on Books a Million. You talked about Books a Million, and so our audience can go over there too, and we'll make sure to leave the link for that as well, so they have a choice. If you don't want to order on Amazon, you can always get on Books a Million. But your books are also in Barnes and Noble and a few other places as well. So there shouldn't be any reason why somebody can't just get on. They could just go on to Google and search for it and they would find it. I don't think they'd have a problem finding it since it's in all these wonderful places.
Yeah.
But what was it
Well,
like
thank
for you the
you.
first time that you held that book in your hand? When it finally got
Oh,
printed and you held it, tell me about that moment.
oh my gosh. I was so excited. I'm seriously, I feel I'm so connected to the story. It's a beautiful mindset. It's a mindset of gratitude. And I really felt I cried basically. I have to be honest. I cried with happiness. It's just, it made me feel like I was keeping also my mother's good heart and legacy alive. She's the one that started this with the watercolor. And she is very kind and sweet.
Oh my.
She's a great lady. Um,
And
so
you had the opportunity through this story then to just pass her legacy down.
yeah, yes,
Ah,
very much,
we
very much.
had we
much.
had an author on who's actually my editor and proofreader and best friend and all these wonderful things I could say about her. And I want to show
Nice.
this, and not to take anything away from celebrating kindness, but this book, Quackles O'Shanazy, I'm going to say it wrong, Shanazy McDuck, is a book that she wrote for the same reasons that you
Oh,
wrote yours.
so
So her
cute.
mother had passed away and left behind all of these short stories, all of these writings. And one of
Oh,
those was a story about Quackles the duck. And she completed the story and made a little children's book out of it.
oh,
It's a
sweet.
collection of little stories about this duck. And and then went on to write a legacy book where she compiled her grandmother's writings, her mother's writings,
Oh,
and then her own, and she put them all together in this just fabulous book. And
oh,
we have an opportunity, I think, as human beings, all of us, to get to keep previous generations alive, to pass down those good traditions and those good stories and those beautiful things to the next generation who might not otherwise ever get to know about them if we don't write them down for them, right?
yes. Thank you. Yes, thank you so
Yeah.
much. I mean, I send all the stories of Jeremiah to my family, my nephews. um, I might even send them an unpublished, um, in the process of being edited, um, little story just so they
Ah,
can enjoy it.
yes.
Because, I just want
Yeah.
them to read it, my family and everything, but they have bought the book as well. But I appreciate what you're saying about your editor's mother and the legacy it's so powerful. It's empowering, actually.
It really is. It really is. And was it a healing process for you too? Did it help you? Did it help you? Because no matter who we are, when we lose someone we love, we grieve. And there's always a process involved in that. And so was that a part of your
Yeah,
healing journey?
thank you so much. Yes, and actually, it was very much because in reflection, on some of the adventures of Jeremiah in his transformation of his heart in knowing what's important. You know, I it's just very humbling. And yeah, it is actually I'm kind of at a loss for words, but I'm bringing
Mm.
them back, bringing the words back.
Oh,
Because basically when you're celebrating the legacy, it's not sad. When it
right.
was, I mean, initially, yes, we do have that grieving process, but then our loved ones want us to celebrate their memories and our
Mm.
experiences and pass it on, you know,
Yes, that is
and
so
it's
beautiful.
it's like that's for real. I mean, it's so wonderful. Yeah.
So when you got that book and you got to hold it for the first time and it was, your work in your hands and it was completed, I don't think there's an other than maybe giving birth to my children, I don't think there has ever been a more exciting moment for me because we pour our heart and our soul into our writings. And they mean something to us, to each one of us that writes. And so here you got to hold that. And I love sharing that with people because I know so many people out there who are sitting on a story idea, but they're
Oh,
afraid to write, and "Oh, I want to write a book, but what will people think? Or maybe I'm not good enough." And they have all of these obstacles that they have set up for themselves. And they tell
oh,
themselves that, well,
yes,
I have to have permission to write a book. I'd have to take my manuscript and send it to hundreds of publishers and hope one of them likes it. And that's not the case. That is not reality. And that's not true. Anybody can write a book. And I really believe
yes.
that most all of us have
I-
something to say. We have some story, whether it is fiction or nonfiction. We all rattle something around in our head
yeah,
that would
we
be a
do.
wonderful thing to share with other people. And it's a gift. It's a gift that we give to the world when we leave those writings behind. I think they're
Yes.
important.
Oh, thank you. I love that. And that is so important because I know we've all touched a lot of lives along the way in our career and our, just in general with our families, but to have a written legacy is something that somebody could read and take in and get a sense of, you know, me when I transition, still have a sense of me and in the family values, the values that we have, the foundation, of our family and our lifestyle is, right there. You hold it in your hands and you get to read it and share it and do storytelling. It's awesome.
Yes.
It is so good. Thank you. I appreciate how you say that.
I have 9 grandchildren, but I have two 11-year-old grandsons. And one of my grandsons in particular is he just devours books. He's an avid reader. And it's
Oh, I
getting
love
harder
that.
and harder for my daughter to find appropriate literature, age appropriate literature for him. And so I started writing a book, which I'm really hoping I get done by next month. I've been working on it way too long. And I'd like to get that done and I've read it to my grandkids along the way. And my other grandson, the other one that doesn't read as much, but he reads. He's just not as avid as the other one.
Yeah,
He
right.
is so thrilled with this story, and he keeps asking, "When are you going to have this book done?" And he's excited for it. And I
It's
keep thinking to
great.
myself,
Oh, I
someday
love
I
that.
won't I won't be here, and my grandchildren and my great grandchildren will have those books to know me
Yes.
through. They'll know something about me. Although this is a fictional story,
Ooh, I
it's
love
not
it.
it's not me in the story or anything like that. But at least they'll know how their grandmother's brain worked, right?
So
So
I'm sure that would be fun for them. Oh, how fun. He's
I've
excited for.
He is,
When he
he is.
finished,
And
oh,
I've
love
written
it.
several books, but I can honestly say that this has been the most fun for me to write because it's lighthearted, it's funny, it's one that I know they will appreciate, you know. So
Well, I can't wait for you to get it out too. Now I'm
yeah, well,
excited.
I'm hoping. I really
Yeah.
so nobody I have no excuses for not getting it done. Nobody has stopped me. Everybody has said, "When are you going to work on it?" But I've just been so busy, and I had a writing clinic last week with my friend and editor, and she's also writing
Oh,
another book. And so she and I, we spent the whole day just writing, and then when we were done, we
oh,
shared our writings with each other. Just, you know, we sort of help each other out with our writings. So I
that's
got a lot
great.
done, and it remotivated me. And now I've been coming into my office and working at least a couple hours on it and trying to
Oh,
get it
that's
done. So my hope is that it will be done by May. That's my hope. We'll see.
oh God, that sounds great. I love it. I'm looking forward to it as well. But I know that managing our time is really important and setting aside. Um,
Mhm.
I was listening to a on radio interview of the author of Hank the Cow Dog, and
Cow dog.
the cow dog. I mean, it's all children's. I mean, this
Oh.
guy is a true cowboy from West Texas. He's done super, super well, super, super well. Um, but I was listening to him. He's like, okay, if you want to know if you're a writer, if you're sitting down every day and just writing, you're carving out that niche for you, and you're doing your writing every day. And I so appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's so important. We all are so busy, but I found, so much enjoyment in writing. And I'm like you. I am I am going to get. I'm working. I have a great editor, and she's very good. And I found her through our High Plains writers. She's a
Oh.
professional editor, and she is getting my Jeremiah Jackrabbit, Celebrating Kindness, on an ebook. I want to get it
Oh,
ebook,
wonderful.
So I want to get that out there so I can reach more people. And
And you know, these kids are on their devices all the time now, you know, and so they're reading on their devices rather than the paperback books. So that would be wonderful if you can get it to them.
I know so many people, adults, that are read 3 books a week on their Kindle Fire,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
it's just like boom, they're just after, and so their children have gotten to be avid readers as well,
right.
like your kids and your
Yes,
grandkids. And so it sparks a fire that
it
has
does.
to
Yeah.
keep it
Uh-huh.
going.
Yeah, well, they're used to reading at school. They do their homework now on their tablets. They do everything on their tablets. So why not read? Why not get them to read?
Yes, yeah, it's so convenient too. And the library also has,
Mhm.
access to all the
Oh,
the
I
the
know, all the
books that
digital books. Yes. Yeah.
I say
So my
get our
husband,
stories out there.
my husband is a truck driver and has been for years. And so he would listen to probably 3 or 4 audiobooks a week very easily as he's
Oh,
driving down the
yeah,
road. And I am
yeah.
sure that over the years he has probably listened to several hundreds of books.
Oh, it
And so
gives me
he's always
goosebumps.
looking for or audiobooks. Yeah. Well, I want to show your Amazon site one more time. And
Oh,
I
thank
just want
you.
people to know where to go to get this because it's just so intriguing and you have such a beautiful heart. And it's wonderful now that I think our audience knows a little bit about you, and that's really something. So when they read the book, they're going to know more than just the story. They'll understand why it was written too, and that's so important. So listen, we'll leave the link in the description of this video, so all of you will know where to go. You can click on it and you can head on over to Amazon and get Celebrating Kindness with Jeremiah Jackrabbit Jr. Or if you want, you could go to Books a Million. It's on there. You could also go to Barnes and Noble or just I'll tell you what, just Google this book and I'm sure you can figure out where to
Yes.
buy it, right?
And it
Yeah,
is definitely there. Let's see here. There is a Google site, books.google.com, and you type in celebrating
right.
kindness, it'll list
It will
all
tell
the
you where all the
sites.
places that you can go
Yes.
to get it. Right, absolutely. So we're going to leave that in the description for you. Oh, Diane, it has been such
Thank
a pleasure
you.
having you here today. I'm so glad that you were with us. Thank you for sharing about this book. Thank you for sharing parts of yourself with us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I enjoyed chatting with you.
Oh, it has. It's
I
been, and
love
you have
it.
such a beautiful spirit about you, such a beautiful heart and a beautiful smile. I love your smile.
Thank you.
So warm and inviting. I bet the children just absolutely love it when you get to read this to them. I'm sure they do. I wish you,
Yeah.
Diane, I wish you so much more success with this book. And my hope and prayer is that you sell out, that, you can't keep them on the shelves and that the bookstores are asking for more because I think it's a beautiful message and it's something we need in the world today, just a little bit more kindness.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I know that kindness is everything, and it's been fun talking to you. So
Oh,
you're wonderful. Thank you so much for having
thank
me
you.
on.
Thank you, Diane. You have been watching a book today and we've had Diane Broady Wilson on. She got to speak about her book, Celebrating Kindness with Jeremiah Jackrabbit Jr. It is such a beautiful book, and she has such a wonderful story. As always, thank you for being with us today, and God bless.